Boy says from now on I'll open my own beer.
Yeah. Now, tell us about the one-room school.
Now, see, that's not the school that's up there now.
Oh, it's not.
No.
No,
It was right at the far end of that lot.
that's where Mom went.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a long school. I have no idea when it was built. The last school was there someplace in the middle 20s.
Now, was it a log building?
No, it wasn't.
It was framed.
It was a framed building. And Price Wigton taught out there, Earl Baker taught there.
I remember them
Now,
hearing about them teaching, yeah.
Gilbert, when he went there, he was in trouble every day.
I think Charles was too, wasn't he?
I don't remember
Everybody
going
is.
with Charles.
But Gilbert like a good time, or he just liked to cause trouble?
He just didn't want to study.
Oh, okay.
Wanted to get in trouble.
No, I don't imagine he ever got anything but F's. But he got through school.
Yeah.
And he was a fairly smart guy.
Well,
too.
yes, he was.
Yeah.
But what had happened, the teacher would flunk him. The one come in next year and talk to him and put him up in the next grade.
Yeah.
So they didn't have to stay back, did they?
So how many would be in a schoolroom? 20 people, maybe? Or a schoolhouse wouldn't have been a
There
room.
was probably
About 50
20 to
something.
well, it seemed like it was 43 one year.
Okay.
I was thinking they said it was around 50 sometime. Well,
Park
maybe
Lake.
1 year.
You know Park Flick over
No.
French Lick?
Yeah.
He went to school out there.
He's still-
His mom taught there.
He's still living.
Yeah.
Yeah, Park's still there.
Park's about 94 or 95.
Well, I imagine.
94, he's 10 years older than I am, because me and Bill, his son, we got to be pretty fair friends, and he told us all about how old his mom was. She is 10 years, no, she's my age. She's the same
She
age
was,
as me.
yeah.
But Park is 10 years older than her and me.
Well, Park always had problems when he went to a school like that.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
On account of his mom being
Yeah.
a teacher. Yeah, it was.
Earl, or not him, Lon Wilson taught up there. You remember Lon Wilson?
Well, yes and no. He was a mail carrier, wasn't he, too?
No, I don't know about that.
I think he was a mail carrier.
But he was a good school teacher.
Yeah.
But there was boys went to school there that you thought should be out.
Yeah.
Yeah, they went to
Um,
like
There was
21
one that
years
caused
old.
most of the trouble.
Yeah.
But Lon Wilson controlled them. They'd do something, he'd take them out there in the yard and he'd get him a switch about that long and he'd wear it out on them.
Caught their attention, huh?
That's right.
It's probably the only thing they could do to.
That's the only
Make
way
'em
he could
mine.
out, yeah. The toilets or restroom or whatever was across the road from the schoolhouse.
Yeah,
Was it a one-holer or
Yeah,
two-holer?
I don't remember whether there's one or two.
the
they
women's
were
was
across
two.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, the boys was across the road over there. Yeah, it was there when I went to school there. That's where it was at.
But they had, one time, the boys would all get into it now and then. One time your dad, I don't know just what he did, but we took him across the road and found a little sapling about that big around. Stuck him straight up and pulled his legs on it and said, "Man, you can't get up." We left him there.
Oh, is that right?
And the preacher, or the teacher, when the school started, wanted to know where he was at. Well, nobody knew.
Oh, is that right?
The teacher went outside and hollered for him, and he answered him. He was down there, he was sitting around that tree. Now, Charles, or Tub, now, he was hard to get along with in school, the
Yeah,
best
he-
I knew. And he was always getting in trouble
Yeah,
with
I think
somebody.
it was.
He would fight at the drop of the hat.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
He was always laughing and good time Joe, as I
Yeah.
remember. But not
Yeah.
when he was younger, huh?
But as your dad, I don't know, I don't ever remember seeing him in a fight. And practically all the kids did at that time.
Yeah.
But the best I remember, he didn't. But he was just one of the bunch then.
Yeah.
But then, I don't know what year it was, they built the new schoolhouse. Clark Beatty was the first teacher.
It wasn't very long till I started that they had
Yeah.
built that. That school was fairly new.
See, I think I started school in 23 or something along there. And that school was built with it.
That was the year I was born.
But it was quite a bunch that lived around here.
Now, what would you do during the summertime? Well, school was only 6 months long, wasn't it?
6 months.
Just 6 months.
Started the last of September and was out in March.
And so what'd you do the other 6 months?
Well, most of them had something they had to do. They had the gardens to put out. The boys and the girls both, I think, had to work in the gardens.
Yeah.
They picked berries because they had to can them to eat the next winter.
Right.
We played a lot of baseball. We played baseball right up here in this valley where I showed you.
Yeah.
that-
Them
I
trees
remember
are-
when. Yeah, I remember that.
It's
was-
all woods and brush now.
Yeah.
I remember that was a. They used to play ball up there.
Showed him where Andy's place was, where the spring is.
Yeah.
and I've seen all that in the garden. All that
In
woods
garden,
and
yeah.
garden. Yeah.
You had to have a lot of garden then to have something to eat, didn't you?
Sure, that's right. You wouldn't believe what our garden looked like in the wintertime. For your buried apples, potatoes, cabbage, you
Yeah,
buried
yeah.
all that stuff.
Oh, you buried it.
Hills, yeah.
Mhm.
That's the only way you had to keep it.
Okay.
My dad used to bury potatoes.
Yeah.
Actually, I went to the old tater hole a lot of times. Dig a little hole out in there and get your
Well,
Is that right?
stuff with straw back in it.
Well, you would have
They
to
what they
bury-
did, they go out there and dig a little ditch, not that big a circle, and put that up in the middle.
Uh-huh.
And then they put straw or leaves, whichever you had.
We managed to get straw somewhere. I don't
Then
know.
you start a layer of potatoes on there or apples. And then you come in one and just kept building up till it got up like that. Then you covered it with straw and then dirt.
Okay.
So when you wanted it to do, you went out and dug a little hole, and you could reach in there and pull them out. You didn't make a big hole because you had to stop it back up.
Stuff to
to
straw
keep
and
it from
stuff back in
freezing.
it.
Huh. And you didn't, ground squirrels or...
Oh no.
You
nothing
didn't bury
bothered
it below the freeze line?
Huh?
You know when they always say freeze line is about 3 foot deep.
This was all above the
I
ground.
know, I'm trying to think why did it not freeze?
Well, you put enough
We
dirt.
put this straw or leaves and dirt.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's nothing freezing in it.
No, we never had anything freezing ours.
You had to put so much leaves or straw
Right.
and then so much dirt. It wasn't a whole lot, but
Yeah.
it didn't freeze.
Well, I remember come about March, I got pretty hungry. There wasn't much left to
Right.
eat.
Uh,
That motivated you when it come time to plant, though.
taking the spring of year, our mothers, they'd get their basket and start hunting greens
Green.
Yeah.
that just come up. And I would like to know what they picked, but I can't
Well,
find
you know,
nobody.
I used to know
I
because
did too.
Mom used to send us kids up to the whole field to pick some greens. And we knew what
Mom
to
would
pick.
take a basket and fill it full.
I could recognize some of that stuff yet, but
She'd take us with her,
I wouldn't know what to call it.
and we'd pick up something. She'd say, "No, that don't go in there."
They knew.
Not be
We
poison.
had some kind of weed they call mountain sprout.
Mountain
So
spout
on
is
a-
one of the main things that they talked about.
Mountain sprout.
So in the winter, let's just say on an average day, What would you eat?
Well, besides that, you usually canned as much stuff you could have. You planted beans and let them dry out and had dry beans. And you had potatoes. Most of the time you had turnips. And what you had buried.
Yeah, we
Excuse me.
We buried turnips.
You mentioned insulin shot. Do you need some sugar? I got some snacks in there. Okay. Sorry.
Did you eat meat in the winter?
Normally we did butcher some hogs most of the time. But sometimes we didn't have them.
So you would eat vegetables
Yes.
and bread,
And what?
biscuits, or
Bread, biscuits or cornbread.
uh-huh.
That's what I say. My dad was a carpenter, so in the fall of the year, he'd go buy 24 sacks of flour.
I remember
And
Mom.
that
used-
was a 24-pound sack.
I remember
24,
Mom used to
24
do-
pound sacks,
She used to stack them there in the bedroom. You know,
flour.
Yeah, where they, she used to keep
And
bedclothes up there.
if he didn't think we had enough beans, he'd love to buy 100 pound of
Made me hungry talking about it already.
100 pound of dry beans.
No, I don't want any. Got one, Henry.
They got enough flour to last them all winter, didn't they? Wasn't that the way they did
what?
that? They bought enough bags of flour to last all winter.
That's right.
I remember Mom used to stack them in there, you know, in that front bedroom in there where the hung your clothes down there and you stack.
Now you bought all that flour at one time instead of maybe buying some.
Yeah, I
bought
just
it.
stacked it in there.
But why
You
did
bought it all and stored it because it's hard to carry that much flour and stuff from town 4 miles on your back in the wintertime.
in the winter?
So you'd have to carry it on your back if you brought it.
Yeah.
I carry your
But
groceries
he was
home.
saying they buy 24 bags, and each bag was 24 pounds. They buy
Okay.
that in the fall, which would last them
And
all winter.
if you didn't think they had enough beans, he'd love to buy 100 pound of dry beans.
Mhm.
So you tried to buy enough in the
To
fall to last you till
all
spring.
Beans and bread, you had it made.
You could always eat beans and bread if you didn't have anything else. If you
We
ran out of
normally
stuff.
eat biscuits and gravy for breakfast.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes it was made with water. Not
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Whatever the water.
And then lunch would be, or did you eat lunch?
Now, you know, we was at school and we liable to take a biscuit with fried potatoes in it.
Eat what
or
you had.
whatever
Think
you
of-
had.
A cold biscuit left over from breakfast, and what would be on it? Just
He said
Taters?
maybe potatoes
To
or
have fried potatoes in it, or it's liable to have beans in it, or it's liable to have anything that's had.
Whatever.
so a
was on
biscuit
hand.
with something in it.
Or jelly.
And then supper would be,
You could go back to your same thing. It's
Beans.
beans, cornbread. You always had cornbread for supper.
okay.
And you had carrots, and sometimes we used to bury some cabbage. Now you couldn't keep it like the other.
What's that, cabbage? Yeah, it would sour on you, wouldn't it? Kind of ferment a little, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but it'd stay for a while.
Yeah.
So you didn't bury much cabbage.
Right.
We used to bury turnips.
Yeah, we buried turnip, we buried apples, with potatoes.
We didn't have any.
Now what did you all do? You said there was, so you had a mom and dad and then 8 boys?
and an uncle.
So 10 in the house and 3 rooms, right? So you had 2 bedrooms or one? Did you use one as a bedroom?
Well, it was actually one bedroom, but Dad and Mom slept in the living room.
Okay.
That's what
in the
you usually
kitchen. And how many other beds we could get in that other room?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we had a hole that you'd get up in the attic, and some slept in the attic.
do. Be warm anyway, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Upstairs was the warmest place in the house. Because especially if you left the stairway door open.
Uh-huh.
But there wasn't no stairway in it.
At the well, whatever you had, ladder or
It was
something.
just that hole in the
That's a
bedroom.
hole in there. Ours had a set of steps.
But if you wasn't big enough to jump from the floor to catch that, you couldn't sleep up there.
They wouldn't help you up, huh?
So what was a typical day for you? I mean, when you were growing up, I mean, you got up, you went to school, or did you do chores before you went to school?
Each one of us had a certain thing we had to do. You had to carry your water. You had to make sure that your mother had enough water for the day. That was the morning chore. You usually had chickens. They had to be taken care of. If you had a cow, they had to be milked. And the same way in the evening, all that stuff had to be taken care of. You had to make sure there was plenty of wood to keep both fires going.